Shortly after EA's Medal of Honor reboot met with adequate consumer and critical response, it became clear that a 14th game in the first-person shooter series would be a go. Medal of Honor Warfighter focuses on the story and the glory of various special ops units. But is there anything really remarkable about this modern military shooter?
Oh, beautiful. When Isabella shows up with her cute friends, Michael can take his pick.
Honey.
What?
The poorly told, difficult to follow, and ultimately inconsequential story bits that pop up between missions chiefly focus on a warfighter known only as Preacher. The life of a soldier has left this sad, glassy-eyed figure feeling estranged from his family. He's been too long away from home, accumulating vast numbers of headshots while serving his country. Like a brazenly patriotic action movie married to a third-rate soap opera, a thin and clearly artificial thread of human drama is awkwardly tied up with a mundane plot involving a convoluted terrorist network. Regardless of any intention to honor real-life soldiers and their families, it's altogether unconvincing and unmoving.
ما بتوكل.
Unlike its main characters, Medal of Honor Warfighter would never risk dishonorable discharge for insubordination. The game does everything by the book, with the 4 to 6 hour campaign trotting you around the globe and generally living up to its title. Its single-player campaign spans just enough time to placate the rigidly value-minded, but anyone concerned with quality will be disappointed by a mind-numbing, tightly scripted tour of duty, where no decision feels like your own and every firefight feels a lot like the last. Driving sections played from a convincingly detailed first-person view where unexpected reprieves from perma-couched, hunkered-down shooting, and a stealth segment done with cars may be the game's one inspired idea, but it's not nearly enough to save the dull campaign with almost no sense of pacing or purpose. A class-based multiplayer game with tightly focused maps and no vehicle shenanigans outside the occasional drone fares a bit better. Despite the downright glacial pace at which you unlock equipment customization options, Warfighter works a team sports angle that's reinforced by its broad spectrum of real-world spec ops teams, each with its own equipment and regalia. It offers an enjoyable and highly competitive environment in which to do battle with your fellow players. Most objectives are familiar, such as controlling zones for points or simply killing the other team, but the One Life to Give home run mode is a quick-moving variant on Capture the Flag that's not completely unique, but still deserves mention. The most notable multiplayer element is actually the game's fire team concept. You're automatically paired with a partner at the start of the match, encouraging ad hoc cooperation even if you're playing casually without a headset. You can visually track him and spawn to his location, sharing ammo and health during battle and XP rewards when the fight is over. It's convenient, but it's by no means a revolutionary feature. Warfighter's online component is functional and has a few good ideas, but there's little here to recommend it over other similar experiences.
We're going left. Take your team to the right. We'll link up inside. Understood?
The business of killing in Medal of Honor Warfighter is easily accomplished thanks to well-suited controls, good weapon feel, and an analog lean and peek mechanic that, while not perfect, offers you increased precision. Clicking in the right stick will often swap between optics and iron sights, a small touch of military minutia that's both novel and useful. Unfortunately, while the basic controls feel right and are well-suited to competitive multiplayer, playing through the single-player game just isn't much fun at all. It's like being given incredibly sharp scissors and a powerful magnifying glass, then being asked to mow someone's lawn. Warfighter gives you precise tools to work with, and there's some inherent satisfaction in using them, but the job you've been given is boring, dull, and honestly just not worth doing. While the locations vary from caves to deserts to buildings to boats to city streets waist-deep in water, you'll fight what seems to be the same battle over and over again with what feels like a fairly limited selection of weaponry. Each location feels like a monotonous, stop-and-pop shooting gallery where positioning and tactics aren't really important. In fact, making a move without the game telling you to do so is generally a bad idea. Attempting to move up before the game gives you the go-ahead is asking for it because your fellow soldiers just don't have your back. Allies you supposedly have deep, manly war bonds with feel more like part of the scenery than an active presence, and while you're often made to follow them around or ask them for ammo, they'll never move up to cover your ass. Everyone is just following the script, including you. When the game tells you your objective is to chase down a target, what it really means is to run into an ambush. Don't worry, he'll wait. As soon as you catch sight of him, he'll start running again. When you've repeated the process enough times, the game will catch him for you in a cutscene. The game simply won't trust you with anything more complicated than aiming and shooting, and will often tell you exactly how to do that too. Frankly, it's a little insulting.
Where the hell is our job?
Your comrades show similar ambivalence in helping you breach doors, a minigame style activity where your team takes position, the door is forced open, and everyone stands there while you try to score slow motion headshots. The game decides which doors you're going to breach, of course, but you get to decide how to breach them. The thing is, it doesn't really matter how you do it. Whether you're kicking it in or blowing it up, you get the same end result every time, gratuitous, slow-mo shooty time. It's kind of like your mom asking you what color shirt you want to wear today. That the game makes a big deal out of such a small thing is silly and embarrassing.
Voodoo, we're on your 6. Give us heads up on anything you see.
There's no question that Warfighter looks better than it plays. Occasional visual imperfections or animation glitches will detract a bit from the overall effect, but the wars being fought here can seem almost strikingly realistic at times. On the other hand, the drive for photorealism is taken too far in the game's pre-rendered cutscenes, with Preacher's ghoulish-looking wife and hideous child triggering all the wrong emotions in what are meant to be warm family moments.
Whatever's going on out there affects you, affects us.
In any case, any aesthetic ambition is abandoned completely when it comes to presenting information to the player. Warfighter's menus amount to a cluttered mess, confusingly arranged, and difficult to navigate, particularly when it comes to accessing the online multiplayer information. That's one of the game's few redeeming features.
One of the things I've learned that some of the other wives didn't is that it's better to have them happy than to have them safe.
Jack. All right, let's go.
If you want to fight a virtual war and you purchase Medal of Honor Warfighter, you won't exactly be in a position to claim false advertising. However, in spite of some strong individual elements, it ends up feeling like a sloppy and ultimately pointless conflict, focusing on superficial distinctions that add nothing to the game. Warfighter lacks a convincing reason to fight, and there's no reason anyone should pick up the banner apart from brand loyalty or sheer boredom.
For the target! Pull the button!
See this and other GT shows and game reviews on the GT Originals iOS app, available now on the App Store.